Hey guys, let's start finding how we can find the x and y intercepts of a linear equation. So here we have a graph given. And we know that for any x value we choose, y would always remain to be 0. So for every valid x value, y will always stay 0 at its plane. So let's get to the point where we have to find the x and y intercepts. So this is pretty easy and very short. Now let me just note down something. To find the x intercept, y has to equal to 0. And with this, we could just simply solve the x value from the given equation. So let's get to the actual application of mathematics here. Let's make it a bit more bolder. Yep, perfect. So let's take y is equal to 8x plus 16. So I forgot to tell you that. So if we are finding the y-intercept, then x would equal to 0. So two alternative cases here. So let's firstly find x-intercept. Just to aware you guys the pure definition of what intercept means, it's basically where a graph line intersects in either axis. So if you look at, let's see a graph for instance, let's make a fake graph here. And we're intended to pick up two different intercepts. We have the x here and we have our y here. So the y-intercept here would be where the graph touches the y-axis. In this case, the graph touches the positive y-axis, which is here. And for the x-intercept, it touches the negative x-intercept, which touches the negative part of the x coordinate. So this is the y and this is the x-intercept. So that's simply what an intersection means. Now let's look at how we can find it using a given equation. So with y is equal to 8x plus 16, let's by default put y as 0. So 8x plus 16 equals to 0. Now in this case, x would then equal to, let's make it a bit more simplified. So 8x would be equal to negative 16, as the 16 is brought by to the other side. So x is equal to negative 16 upon 8. Since these both are multiplied, they divide to break up 8. Now we have negative 16 upon 8. So x would therefore equal to negative 2. So this would be our x interception. Alright, now we have x. Now let's find y. So in order for us to find y, we simply just have to replace x as 0. So y is equal to 8 multiplied by 0 plus 16. And that's simply y is equal to 0 plus 16, which is equal to 16. So y is equal to 16. And that is the y-intercept. Now let's see if we can graph it now. So x touches at negative 2. And negative 2 plots right here. And for y is equal to 16, that's going out chart. So that should be above there. But of course, familiarly high. So it should pretty much go very steep. And that should pretty much be the graph. So it goes at a very steep angle. And this, I'm approximating, should touch y is equal to 16. Let's go for another example. Let's take y is equal to 4x plus 8. So let's find the y-intercept. So in order for you to find the y-intercept, as I said, x should always equal to 0. So y is equal to 4 into 0 plus 8. So that simply becomes 0 plus 8, which is 8. Now let's find the x-intercept. So that means y has to equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 4x plus 8. 4x is equal to negative 8. So therefore, x is equal to negative 8 upon 4, which is negative 2. Now we have our two values. Let's plot them. So let's take y is equal to 8. So that's here. And x is equal to negative 2. So that should be our graph. So let's see. There we go. So this should be the visuals of our graph. Now, with the y and x intercept, we can now easily just graph a normal linear equation, and that should be very easy for us to understand. So the main objectives of this is that to get the y-intercept, x has to be 0, and to get the x-intercept, y has to be 0. And that's simply how you can find these two values of these two variables.